Degrassi! Hey, I'm Carrie from DegrassiBlog.com, and it all comes down to this. It all falls down the grand finale of Degrassi: The Boiling Point.
This is your funeral.
She stole
Are you trying to get yourself
What did
killed?
you do to my sister?
With exams being pushed back thanks to Claire's stinky bomb and purple pills, Drew's got a little more time to study for his exam. The problem is he's distracted by Bianca, who makes it pretty clear that she wants to study Drew's crotch. Bianca de Sousa, my, how you've grown. Drew receives a sexy text from Bianca while Allie is sitting right next to him, and Allie wants to kick Bianca's ass instead of wondering why and how Bianca got Drew's number in the first place. Drew tells Bianca to back off, but she tells him to meet her in the boiler room for an Emma special. You know, back in my day, the boiler room was basically the place for people to play euchre games, secret Parsi meetups, and Craig's summer condo, but whatever. Drew meets her at the midway point of All Falls Down, and like a minute later, Allie finds out about their encounter, only she thinks Bianca and Drew just kissed. Then another minute later, Drew and Allie make up. Then a minute after that, Allie finds out the truth, and she storms off. Out of nowhere, Owen shows up and offers Allie money for sexual favors, and out of jealousy, she agrees, but doesn't follow through because Drew shows up, and to be honest, she really didn't want to hook up with Owen to begin with. Before Drew and Allie can actually get to meaningful discussion, Drew's mom ruins everything by busting into the boiler room and blaming everything, even though nothing actually ever happened, on Allie. Drew and Allie's acting is solid, but I'm lost with the logic of Drew's character. They made a big fuss about Drew and Allie as a couple earlier in the season, and we see them acting like this wonderful couple from that point on, but then it takes virtually no time for Drew to throw that all away for literally no reason at all. And when I said Drew's mom ruined things, I meant it. She's cold toward Allie at the beginning of the episode, then calls her a whore at the end. This is the second time Drew's mom has stepped into a storyline of his and hurt the plot instead of helping it. His mom is a helicopter parent with a condescending, abrasive attitude toward everyone except Drew and Adam. To me, her personality is basically unbearable, and I just want to punch her in the face every time I hear her and see her, and I don't feel guilty about that at all. Without her interference, though, this is a solid relationship storyline, given that it is about a couple that I really don't care about. And this plot is getting a B-. With the pressure on Mr. Simpson to find out who's responsible for the stink bomb, Eli and Claire, aka Mr. Boyfriend and Girlfriend, tell him it was Fitz. With Fitz on the rampage now, Claire makes a deal with him. She'll go to the dance with him if he'll leave Eli and Adam alone. Eli's pissed at Fitz and wants Claire to poison Fitz's drink at the dance. She refuses, so Eli takes matters into his own hands and ends up actually poisoning Fitz himself. And that leads to a final confrontation between Eli and Fitz, with Fitz, of course, wielding a knife. Claire saw Fitz earlier in the episode with the knife and told Adam to tell Mr. Simpson, leading to the school being put on lockdown. Fitz appears to stab Eli, but jabbed the knife into the wall instead, and he's caught by police. Claire and Eli confess to the stink bomb situation, leaving Mr. Simpson furious. That plus Sav and Holly J randomly caught almost having sex in a classroom somewhere, and Mr. Simpson promises drastic changes once they return from break. I enjoyed this storyline because it made me love Claire even more and realize Fitz isn't all that bad, and become severely annoyed with Eli. Claire is just simply wonderful for trying to settle things between Eli and Fitz. Meanwhile, I kept yelling at my screen, "Just let it go already, Eli!" I get that he had bully issues in the past, but I wish he would realize that Fitz would have, literally just left him alone if he had just let it go at any point. For that reason, I'm now worried about how that sort of mentality will work when or if it's ever directed at Claire. Now, the knife scene, just because it didn't end with Eli dying doesn't mean it wasn't interesting. My heart stopped when it looked like Fitz stabbed Eli, but Fitz stabbing the wall basically works in this scenario because Fitz was just trying to do what Eli's been trying to do to him all along, which is scare him. I'm also left with a sense of relief as this episode as a whole is basically a cliffhanger. I thought the boiling point might be a self-contained event where everything would wrap up at the very end, and they'd start over with a clean slate in October. But I really like the fact that this episode is just a setup for what's to come in the second half of Season 10. And the second plot is getting an A-.
Big thanks to everyone who watched Degrassi: The Boiling Point as it went on all summer long. And thank you to everyone who watched these Degrassi episode reviews as I did them over the past 6 weeks. Big thank you to all of you. Now, We just gotta wait because Degrassi picks up again in early to mid-October. But until then, for the latest in Degrassi news, gossip, and more, just check us out online at DegrassiBlog.com.